This is Resonance 104.4 FM. Flipping marvellous. How you doing? Yes. I'm Nick Hennegan. Thank you for your company. Welcome to another slice of Literary London, where we kind of look at stuff to do with, yeah, you guessed it, literature and London. We're also on bohemianbritain.com, which is my sort of slightly messy website, which has got all sorts on it, really. Yes. Reviews, views, and this radio show, usually. Thank you for your company. Yes, we're going to, as we threatened last time, this week it's your requests. Yes, so we've got half an hour of all sorts of interesting things to come. And I had an email from Greg, who is in Manchester. Greg said, oh, by the way, if you want to get in touch at any point, you can. I'll just give you those details now. radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk. radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk. Or my new address, Nick, N-I-C-K, at bohemianbritain.com. Oh, Nick at bohemianbritain.com. And Greg did that. Greg did just that. He got in touch and he said, hi, Nick. I've been listening for a long time now. Well done, Greg. Thanks for that, mate. And I normally, in fact, as he said, I normally listen on bohemianbritain.com and stream it from that website. And I was wondering if you could play some of your own music. What's he talking about? I hear you cry. Don't cry, it's all right. Yeah. Greg said, a while ago you played a couple of tracks that you composed yourself and you'd done them on your iPad. Ah, yes, I know what you're talking about. Greg says, there was a trial you were using your own voice. I think I know what I'm talking about. And then another one that featured a big choir. Could you play them both, please? And dedicate them to my wife, Marina, who currently is working in Portsmouth, and I know we'll be listening to this. Well, blimey, Greg, that's kind of a nice thing. I can't ignore that, can I? My own tunes. I know what you're talking about. I attended a lesson on composing music, because I'm a bad musician, really. I mean, I'm a bad guitarist. We used to have a little band when we were kids. I used to play the guitar. Our big brother was in charge. There was me and my little sister and my mate Vic. And we had a bit of success, I have to say. It was a long time ago, let me tell you. Around the time of the Osmonds. In the 70s, bands were quite big. And I do remember being at home in Birmingham and our brother saying that we might have to go for a meeting. And it turned out, I found out years later, we were going to be offered a recording contract in London. And my mom said no. I kind of think she probably made the right decision, having worked in the music business for a few years myself. And we were only sort of 12, 13, 14 years old. So my brother's 10 years older than me. So it would have been interesting. But we did a couple of gigs. We played holiday camps and we used to do a lot of charity work as well, lots of charity work. So I've always been interested in music. And this was me playing with a vocoder. So it's my voice. And really, I just wanted to put a bit of a background to me sounding stupid. And this is what came out. Yeah, it's a bit average. But anyway, Greg, this is for you, mate. I called it Walk With Me. And you'll see why in a minute.
Walk with me. Walk with me. with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk, 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 walk with me. Walk with me. Walk, 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 walk with me.
With me.
Ah, there you go. That was me. And Walk With Me, I actually rather pretentiously called it The Death of Van Gogh. The idea of these artistic spirits, different noises, different voices, walking away. Walk with me. So, yeah, I could probably make it slightly more pretentious if I try harder, but I'm not so sure. I'm Nick Hennegan. This is Resonance 104.4 FM. It's literally London. It's our request show, and that was for Greg from Manchester. The Death of Van Gogh. And he also asked for the other thing that he heard that I'd written, and I'll play that later on perhaps, but I don't want to overload you. It was another piece that was motivated by the number 50 bus. If you know Birmingham, Britain's second city, there's a bus called the 50. Number 50, it goes from the Maypole, which is sort of almost Worcestershire, right into the centre of Birmingham. And I kind of love the multicultural aspects of Birmingham, being born and brought up there. It's busting, Bab. And I was slightly motivated to put together different feels of music. And I called it Maypole to Birmingham, I think. I don't know. I'll have a look. And I'll do that for you later anyway. Greg, I don't want to overload you with my stuff. We've had another email. Thank you very much to Helena. Helena said, excited about another request show. Could you please play a song for my partner Edwina? We've been together for 4 years now. And she also says in the email, yes, no cracks about. Helena and Edwina, we know we rhyme. We get on very well. That's great. And Helena, for you, Edwina, has asked for this.
On a morning from a Bogart movie, in a country where they turn back time, you go strolling through the crowd like Peter Laura contemplating a crime. She comes out of the sun in a silk dress, running like a watercolor in the rain. Don't bother asking for explanation, she'll just tell you that she came in the year of the cat. She doesn't give you time for questions as she locks up your arm in hers, and you follow till your sense of which direction completely disappears. By the blue tiled walls near the market stalls, there's a hidden door she leads you to. These days, she says, I feel my life just like a river running through the year of the cat. While she looks at you so coolly, and her eyes shine like the moon and the sea. She comes in incense and patchouli. So you take her to find what's waiting inside the year of the cat. One morning comes and you're still with her, and the bus and the tourists are gone, and you've thrown away your choice and lost your ticket, so you have to stay on. But the drumbeat strains of the night remain, and the rhythm of the newborn day. You know sometime you're bound to leave her, but for now you're gonna stay in the year of the cat. Year of the cat.
Ah, that's glorious, isn't it? Al Stewart and the Year of the Cat. That was especially from Helena for Edwina, her partner, recent partner. And I hope you enjoyed that. I haven't heard that for a long time. I've forgotten how good that song is. Al Stewart, Year of the Cat. I'm Nick Hennegan. Excuse me, it's the emotion, loves. This is Resonance 104.4 FM. It's Literary London's Requests, where which we do every now and again. People email in to either radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk, radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk, or, of course, Nick, Nick, at bohemianbritain.com. That's my new email address. Oh, yeah. And numerous people have. Thank you very much for emailing in. Don't forget, if you've got an event happening that you think is of literary importance, or, well, you know, you just think people might like, then, again, feel free to drop us a line at those addresses. Dermot got in touch. He said, "Hi, Nick." Hi, Dermot. I've just got back from the United States of America. An interesting time at the moment, but I met some really, really lovely people. And I got chatted to a chap called Greg, also called Greg. So it was Greg who emailed earlier. I'm sure it's not that one. In a bar in New York about Allen Ginsberg. And I do remember hearing you play a long time ago a recording of Allen Ginsberg. Recorded of Death to Van Gogh's Ear. And I wondered if you could play that again, just for me and for Greg, who may well be listening in New York. Wow, Dermot, how could I resist that? Time for a bit of beat poetry? Yeah, I think so.
Alan, you want to read your Apollinaire poem that America hardly knows about?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe seeing as I'm here. You know what I'll read, Gregory?
Your mother's poem?
No, I'm going to read that.
I would love you to say something very beautiful about
Death to Van Gogh's Ear.
Yes.
To say something beautiful about what?
No, it's all right. To clear that.
Beautiful about what?
I think about us and what they've been saying that's making us
Yes.
like, a bunch of idiots. But I think that there is
Well, let
some
the poetry
rose
speak.
in it. Let the poetry speak.
Yeah.
All right.
The normal order, since I've been reading literary poems, I would next have read Apollinaire's Grave, an ode on Apollinaire's Grave, but I
Give
don't...
your name.
Ginsberg speaking
You have to
again.
raise up.
Ginsberg speaking again. Am I loud enough? Or shall I move this in? No,
Fine,
just don't
everything's
touch
fine.
anything. Okay. But no time, so I'm now going to read a 4-page poem called Death to Van Gogh's Ear, dedicated to the United States in the year 1959. Poet is priest. Money has destroyed the soul of America. Congress has broken through to the precipice of eternity, and the president has built a war machine which will vomit and rear up Russia out of Kansas. The American century betrayed by a mad cabinet which no longer sleeps with its wife. Franco has murdered Lorca, the fairy son of Whitman, just as Mayakovsky committed suicide to avoid Russia, just as Hart Crane, that distinguished Platonist, committed suicide to cave in the wrong side of America, just as millions of tons of human wheat were burned in secret caverns under the White House, while India starved and screamed and ate mad dogs full of rain, and mountains of eggs were reduced to powder and burned in the halls of Congress, and no God-fearing man will walk there again because of the stink of the rotten eggs of eternity. And the Indians of Chiapas continue to gnaw their vitaminless tortillas, and the Aborigines of Australia gibber in the eggless wilderness, and the Chinese have no eggs, and the Chinese poets have no eggs, and the paintings of France fall apart for lack of eggs, and I rarely have an egg for my breakfast, though my work requires infinite eggs to come to birth in eternity, and eggs should be eaten or given to their mothers, and the grief of the countless chickens of America is expressed in the screaming of her comedians over the radio. Now Detroit has built 1 million automobiles of rhinestones and phantoms, but I walk, and the Orient walks with me, all Africa walks, sooner or later North America will walk, and my father has bankrupted himself and missed a trip to Asia for a new model which will break down in 2 years in disgust, and now we will never fly to the moon in his lifetime. As we have driven the Chinese angel from out our door, so now he will drive us from the golden door of the future, and we have not cherished pity on Tanganyika, and Einstein was cursed for murmuring heavenly politics, and the immortal Chaplin has been driven from our shores with a rose in his teeth. We wanted his money-back taxes on his genius and put him on trial for getting laid. And Bertrand Russell also got laid and was driven from New York before the war. And the virgin Allen Ginsberg was expelled from Columbia on the mere suspicion of getting laid. And a secret conspiracy by the Catholic Church in the basement of Congress has denied the use of contraceptive to the unceasing masses of India. And nobody publishes a word that is not the cowardly robot ravings of a depraved mentality. And the day of the revolution of the true literature of the American body will be the day of revolution publication, the revolution of the sexy lamb, the only bloodless revolution that will give away corn. The Thieves' Journal by Genet will improve honesty on Madison Avenue. Lady Chatterley's Lover will improve relations in suburban bedrooms. Tropic of Cancer will make for honesty in English departments. Lord Rochester will save Broadway from its tragedy. Desaid amuse Iowa. and the heroine of Lao Tse and the sixth patriarch is punished by the electric chair, but the poor sick junkies have nowhere to lay their heads, and the geniuses of our government have invented a cold turkey cure for addiction as obsolete as the defense early warning radar system. I am the defense early warning radar system. I see nothing but bombs. I am not interested in preventing Asia from being Asia, and the governments of Russia and Asia will rise and fall, but Russia and Asia will not fall, and the government of America will also fall, but how can America fall? I doubt if anyone will really fall anymore except governments. Fortunately, all governments will fall. The only ones which won't fall are the good ones, and the good ones don't yet exist, but they have to begin existing. They exist in my poems. They exist in the death of the Russian and American governments. They exist in the death of Hart Crane and Mayakovsky. Now is the time for prophecy without death as a consequence. The universe will ultimately disappear. England has invented a panacea for junkies, and marijuana is a benevolent narcotic, but J. Edgar Hoover prefers his deathly scotch. McCarthy was always a hallucination, and the intellectuals will invent mightier bombs than Russia, while Hollywood will rot on the windmills of eternity. Hollywood, whose movies stuck in the throat of God. Yes, Hollywood will get what it deserves. Time. Now the Pentagon is building a dome bomb-proof storage house for souls, a committee of secrets demanding millionfold bankruptcy to raise up a carnivorous windmill at Los Alamos to outmonster the billions of Asia. History will make this poem prophetic and its awful silliness a hideous spiritual music. I have the moan of doves and the feather of ecstasy. Man cannot long endure the hunger of the cannibal abstract. War is abstract. The world will be destroyed, but I will die only for poetry. That will save the world. Industrialists are hysterical freaks. The monument to Sacco and Vanzetti not yet financed to ennoble Boston. The natives of Kenya tormented by idiot conmen from England. South Africa in the grip of the white fool. Korea belongs to Korea. Germany happy without bombs. Vachel Lindsay, Secretary of the Interior. Poe, Secretary of Imagination. Pound, Secretary of Economics. And Kra belongs to Kra, and Pakti to Pakti, cross-fertilization of Bloch and Artaud. Atomic fission will warm the Malthusian heart of the West. Sudan irrigated, beauty cities in Sahara, Van Gogh's ear on the currency, no more propaganda for monsters. Money is the monster pet, and poets should stay out of politics or become monstrous. I have become monstrous with politics. Undoubtedly the Russian poet equally monstrous in his secret notebook, for Russia belongs to Russia, Hungary to Hungary, Tibet should be left alone. These are obvious prophecies. America will be destroyed. Let the Russian poets struggle with Russia. America should send Russia poets. And Whitman warned against our being the fabled damned of nations. Where was Theodore Roosevelt after he sent out therapeutic storm warnings from his castle in Camden? Where was the Congress when at last I read the prophetic books of Whitman? Where was Wall Street when Vachel Lindsay announced the doom of money, the doom of the gory, financial, sadistic mouth of gold? Where were the whites when Williams denounced the bureaucracy against immigration of the Chinese weary? Were they listening to our ravings in the locker rooms of Bickford employment offices? Did they bend their ears to the moans of my soul when I struggled with statistics of market research in the Forum at Rome? No, they were fighting in fiery offices, on carpets of heart failure, screaming and bargaining with destiny, fighting the skeleton with sabers, muskets, buck teeth, indigestion, bombs of larceny, whoredom, rockets, pederasty, back to the wall to build up their wives and apartments, lawns, suburbs, fairiedoms, cutthroats for the sake of a television set, Puerto Ricans crowded for massacre on 15th Street for the sake of an imitation Chinese modern refrigerator, the elephants of mercy murdered for the sake of an Elizabethan birdcage, millions of agitated fanatics in the bug house for the sake of the screaming soprano of industry, money, 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 shrieking mad celestial money of illusion, money coined from nothing, starvation, suicide, leprous money made of machines, money of failure, money of death, money against eternity, and eternity's strong mills coin out vast paper of illusion. Time to rescue America from the manufacturers of money, soapers, toothpaste apes in the television set, deodorizers in hypnotic chairs with eyes of dimes, isolational petroleum mongers in Texas, jet plane streaks among the clouds, skywriters in the face of divinity, fanged butchers of hats and shoes, all owners, 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 with their obsession on the property of vanishing selfhood, and their long editorials on the fence of the screaming Negro, attacked by the ants crawled out of the front page, makers of history, machinery of a mass electrical dream, lay the burnt, sore baby of life at her office door, the war-creating whore of Babylon, bellowing over capitals and academies. Therefore I prophesy the fall of America, the fabled damned of nations, as prophesied in 19th century, America to be swallowed by oblivion with all created things.
Is there light in that poem, Alan? I say there's light.
Yeah, sure, there's
There's
light.
light.
There's the light of Whitman's Democratic Vistas.
No, I mean, but light in the saving and all that. I don't.
Yes, because of the comedy. See, like, the great light of the poem is history will make the poem prophetic, and its awful silliness a hideous spiritual music.
Good.
I have the moan of doves and the feather of ecstasy.
Yeah, I'd say that it's got to be light.
Yeah, I'm glad I read that here. It's the first time I've ever read that aloud. How much time do we have?
Not enough time, I'm afraid. Allen Ginsberg and Death to Van Gogh's ear. I like that as well because of the spontaneity of it all. And it's kind of still relevant, let the poetry speak, as they say. And I was going to play my final track, a thing I wrote that Greg wrote in, emailed from Manchester. Greg said, would you play? It's called, well, I won't bother with it now because we haven't got time. I blame Allen Ginsberg, but I certainly do not worry at all about giving way to Allen Ginsberg. As mentioned before, if you'd like to get in touch, then that would be great. radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk. Or radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk, or Nick, N-I-C-K, at bohemianbritain.com. Nick at bohemianbritain.com, and check out bohemianbritain.com. It's my messy little website. It kind of came out of the fact that this radio show that you're listening to now got voted the number 2 Bohemian podcast in the world by, I think it was Podbean or one of those organisations, which made me laugh slightly, so I thought I'd set up Bohemian Britain when we had the lockdown, and it's a spin-off, I suppose, really, also of the London Literary Pub Crawl. Either way, it's nice to have your company. Thank you very much for emailing in. We'll do another request show in, I don't know, maybe next month. So if there is anything you'd like to hear, poetry or music, then do, again, drop us an email. Until then, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for your company. I'm Nick Hennegan on bohemianbritain.com, but chiefly, of course, this is Literary London on Resonance 104.4 FM.